In February, American inflation was 2.4%. In May, it was 4.2%, the fastest price growth in 3 years, though still about half of what 2022 felt like. And the people whose entire job is fixing that? They met. They looked at it. They did nothing. 3 meetings this year, 3 holds. The last one? Unanimous. Stranger still, earlier this year, some committee members voted to cut rates. Others now argue the next move may have to be a hike. Same numbers on the table, opposite directions. So either the world's most watched economics committee forgot how its one tool works, or this inflation isn't the disease that tool treats. It's the second one. Today, 2 kinds of inflation, 1 kind of medicine, and the single number that decides who wins this argument. Here's the model most of us carry around. The Fed is a thermostat. Inflation runs hot, they raise rates, it cools. 2022 taught everyone that lesson, and the takes now write themselves. Asleep at the wheel. Just raise rates, stop printing money. But notice the tell. Nobody on that committee disputes the thermometer. 4.2 is 4.2. What they dispute is the thermostat. To see why, we need a coffee shop. Say prices at your cafe jump 10%. 2 very different stories can be underneath. Story 1, the whole neighborhood got raises and there's a queue out the door. Too much money chasing the same coffee. Demand pull. Story 2, the coffee harvest failed. The beans themselves cost more and the cafe is passing it along. Cost push. Same fever on the menu board, opposite infections underneath. Now the X-ray for 2026. Headline inflation, 4.2. Strip out food and energy, and the core reads 2.9. Most of the fever is sitting in one place. Energy prices swung from falling 3.5% a year ago to rising 23.5% now. Gasoline alone is up 40%. Of May's monthly jump, energy was over 60%. The San Francisco Fed sorts inflation into supply-driven and demand-driven. This one lands mostly on the supply side, unlike 2021, when demand did far more of the work. Mostly supply is not all supply, though. Core near 3 is its own quiet problem. Hold that thought. So what hit the supply? In late February, a war between the United States and Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, the channel a fifth of the world's oil ships through. At the worst, around 10 million barrels a day were shut in. Crude went from $69 a barrel to $115. American gasoline, $3.10 a gallon to $4.15. Diesel, over $5.80. And diesel is the tell. Diesel is in every price tag in the country. The freight, the plastics, the fertilizer, the lettuce that rode a truck to reach you. An oil shock doesn't stay at the gas station. Now the part the news cycle undersold. In mid-June, an agreement reopened the strait. By July 1st, crude was back below 70, a round trip. At the source, the shock has mostly reversed, but inflation data is a photograph, and it develops slowly. May's 4.2 captured the peak. There's a second, smaller layer, new tariffs, on electric cars, chips, batteries, solar. A tariff raises the price level once. It is not, by itself, a spiral. Studies of earlier tariff rounds found the cost passed almost fully into import prices, with roughly half reaching shelves. The newest rounds? Honestly, too fresh to measure. Which brings us to the medicine. Read the label on a rate hike. It makes borrowing pricier, so households and businesses spend less. It cools asset prices. It strengthens the dollar, which cheapens imports. Notice what every item on that list is. Demand. Central banks can't pump oil or run container ships. They can only cool the economy until spending fits the smaller supply. So hiking into a supply shock does work, the way treating a fever by icing the entire patient works. It manufactures a slump big enough to offset the shock. The going rate in the literature? 1 to 3% of GDP per point of inflation removed. And the autopsies of past oil shocks found something uncomfortable. Much of the damage came not from the oil, but from the policy response to it. Two doctors, same textbook, opposite bets. 2011. Europe's central bank hiked twice into an oil spike. The economy buckled, and they reversed within 7 months. Premature, says the retrospect. 2008. Oil hit 147, and the Fed looked straight through it. Right call, says the same retrospect. The tool is real, it's just aimed at demand, and this time, the fire is in the supply room. Speaking of prices, here's one with no pass-through and no drip. Subscribing costs $0, tells YouTube to show explanations like this to more people, and tells us to keep making them with the care they take. If we ever add a fee, you may hike. A supply shock pushes prices up and the economy down at the same time. The corner economists call stagflation, and one lever can't chase both directions. So if looking through is the textbook answer, why is anyone talking about hikes? One word: expectations. A one-time price jump stays one time only while people believe it will. The moment workers, shops, and landlords start pricing in permanent inflation, the level shift becomes a spiral. The 70s are the ghost story. 2 oil shocks, a central bank that accommodated, and wages indexed to inflation. Every price jump automatically fed the next wage jump. By 1980, inflation hit 13.5%. Unbreaking it took a policy rate near 20, and a recession that pushed unemployment near 11. 2 footnotes. The 70s weren't purely a policy failure. The oil was real. And today's economy runs on less than half the energy per dollar it did then, with indexed wages now rare. A ghost story, not a forecast. So where's the anchor today? Households are drifting. The Michigan survey puts next year inflation at 4.6, and even its 5 to 10-year view at 3.3. The New York Fed's 3-year gauge is the highest since June 2022. Markets, meanwhile, are calm. 5-year break-evens sit near 2.3. Strained, but not broken. And now, you can decode the committee. One camp is buying insurance against 1979, the other against 2011. Same dashboard, different tales. One asterisk before the finale. Bernanke and Blanchard, yes, that Bernanke, did the autopsy on the last inflation. The 2021 surge came mostly from supply and product market shocks, not an overheated job market. And the celebrated disinflation of 2023? Much of it was supply healing on its own schedule. The hikes didn't fix the supply shock. They guarded the anchor while it healed. Now the same experiment runs live. The Strait is open. Crude has round-tripped. The Cleveland Fed's nowcast already points near 3.5 for July. If the textbook is right, this fever breaks on its own. What the committee is really arguing about is whether expectations already caught the disease. The steel man deserves its say. Unemployment is 4.4. Wages are growing 3.5-ish. Core services run warmer than a 2% world. Demand is firm, not booming, and firm demand gives any supply shock more traction. The monetarists get their due as well. No shock sustains years of inflation unless policy accommodates it. Other central banks, staring at the same fever, have mostly held. More than one has leaned toward a small hike. So, for us cats, first, the bill. The average household burns about $2,400 a year on gasoline. Stanford economists estimate this year's shock adds roughly $850 to that, $70-some a month. Gas is eating 3% of the average household's income, over 4% if money's tight. And real hourly pay sits slightly below a year ago. Small wonder half the country brings up high prices unprompted, still America's most named financial worry. 3 things worth keeping. 1. Diagnose before you panic. Headline versus core is the first question for any scary inflation number. Beans or Q? 2. Watch the anchor, not the print. The CPI tells you where prices were. The expectations gauges tell you whether this becomes the 70s. That's the number the committee is actually staring at. 3. Know your exposure, in both directions. Credit cards and home equity lines ride the Fed's rate almost directly. A hike reaches your 21% APR within a month or two. The Fed's 3.5%, meanwhile, becomes 0.4 on the average savings account. Mortgages answer to the 10-year bond, not to the overnight rate. And a fourth, free of charge: distrust anyone certain. There's a serious academic debate over whether 3% inflation should be fought at all. The best-informed people disagree. The confident ones are selling something. Because here's the thing about that committee. They don't disagree about the fever. They disagree about which insurance to buy, against a needless recession or against a loose anchor. A tied committee isn't a broken thermostat. At 4.2, it's what honesty looks like. So, which insurance would you buy? Move now or hold and watch the anchor? Tell us in the comments. We read every one. Sniff you later.